Today's episode, I want to talk about the two faces of WordPress and why that's a problem. This is a post that was written by Joost over on his product site, progressplanner.com. I'll link that up in the show notes. I encourage you to read it. I have a handful of issues with the article, but I largely, agree with the premise, and the loose premise being that there are the two faces of WordPress, one being the community side of WordPress, those who love WordPress, those who commit code to WordPress, those who go to, of course, WordCamps, those who contribute back to WordPress in many ways, not just code. And then the business side of it, which is the businesses that are making money with WordPress and not contributing back to WordPress in various ways by either like on the code side, on the money side. And, he sort of like indicates like there's this growing divide. Let's just read this one paragraph here. WordCamps are still the home of the community-friendly grassroots events where the contribution and collaboration thrive, but increasingly we see more business-oriented gatherings like CloudFest, where the vibe is almost purely commercial and the goals are all about growth and scale. These two types of events do overlap. Community people do sometimes also go to business events, and some business people show their face at WordCamps, and some events like PressConf and CloudFest Hackathon are a bit of more in the middle. However, WordPress community and business wings are no longer working as closely as they once did. It wasn't always like this in the earlier stages of WordPress. Most people, even those starting a business, began by contributing. They attended meetups, gave talks, and submitted patches. The community and the economy grew hand in hand. And I think one of the things that, again, I must wave my own flag. You must allow me to get on my soapbox for a moment, because I think that folks like myself at the WP Minute and previously the Matt Report, where you're listening to this right now, it was that intersection of business and community. And not just myself, there are others in the space who do really great work. And I agree. In another paragraph here that Joost writes, he says, we need companies to actively support the community, not just with money, but also with time, code, resources, and visibility. Okay, visibility as well is another thing that I'll latch onto in a second here. But as a WordPress media outlet, and those of you that have followed me for a while know my woes of running a WordPress media business. I won't drown you in them right now, but it is very challenging to run a media site. And by media site, I mean, a professionally approached podcast, newsletter, blog, community, and future online event type of business. One does not build an empire by serving this intersection of community and business. It is a very small group of people. And by all of my accounts, it is 10,000 English-speaking people across the globe that care about WordPress and business at the same time, or at least the economy of, right? You count people at web hosting companies like some of the great partners that support me. They have bigger fish to fry for sure, but understanding where and what is happening in the WordPress community is, one reason why they would probably like tune into my kind of content. So, the struggle with, or not the struggle, but the challenge I have with this article is, there's some of us out there that have been doing this, that haven't given up on this area. When you talk about, supporting the community in terms of either money or visibility, something I've been asking for that for years, and so do my peers in the media. The Media Core recently just officially got shut down, which was a sort of loose initiative, an experiment, as Josepha phrased it when she first started it out, and then Reyes took over to pilot it for a little while after she left. And now she's no longer with Automatic, and it was sort of decided to just be shut down. And it's a very unfortunate thing, because I think working with media brands like myself was a great opportunity for .org and for Automatic to build some inroads to folks that could amplify particular messages and to get the message out on things, especially in a world where most people are, really looking at Automatic going, oh man, like what's happening over there? What's happening with the lawsuit? What's happening with Matt? What's happening with Mary? What's going on? And it would be quite the achievement if they get the media folks on their side. So my soapbox moment is just that. It is just to say, like, yeah, we've been doing it for a while. And, Joost might not see it, or maybe not care to see it, because maybe he doesn't particularly care about the work that I've done for 15 years or what other folks have done in the media space. Or maybe he's leaving post status out of it, which was weird that that's not listed here. This actually seems like a better use of post status real estate than the progress planner real estate, but I guess that's another debate. So yeah, that's one issue. And I would say like the second issue that I have, not an issue, but another concern is, especially on the visibility side, that the partners that I have at the WP Minute, those that sponsor us, it's really difficult these days, right, to get sponsors. Sponsors are, tightening up their wallet. They want to make sure that things are working. I would argue that when you're sponsoring the WP Minute or another brand, like it's not a lot of money compared to other ways to spend your money. And across the board, everyone's complaining about traffic being down, myself included. And why is that, right? Well, social media fatigue in general, fatigue about WordPress. Is WordPress still exciting anymore? Do we want content from big brands that really don't have the personality to attract individual buyers, right? I think we're moving into a world, especially with AI, where most people are going to want this like human to resonate with, flaws and all, like the perfectly composed corporate email or corporate video or even, social media short form video. A lot of people are just like, I'm done with that. Like I want to tune into something that's like a little bit more like me or a little bit more entertaining. And this is the chance for WordPress companies to, really dip into that promotional piece, again, with folks like myself and others, to leverage the more human side of content and promotion. And the third, I don't know if I said only two, but I'm going to go with three here, is business hasn't always been an acceptable thing from the community side. So if I'm reading this correctly, it's Joost saying, like, how do we merge like both of these worlds? Is as he has in bold in the last sentence of the article, WordPress is stronger when both of its faces are looking in the same direction. On the community side, I mean, I have a short list of folks who are just, when I started the Matt Report, largely covering businesses. I mean, when I look back, I think I was maybe the only media site having articles that were like how to run WordPress business. How to run a $1 million WordPress business. And when I leaned into that from, yes, partly a marketing angle, but partly like there's big businesses happening in WordPress or sizable businesses happening in WordPress, especially back then. Large swaths of the community is like, oh, it's just that business guy. And let's face it, especially the developers, right? Whom I'm friends with now, of course. But some of them still, plenty of people like will just see me at events and it's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know of anything that you do. Okay, that's possibly true, but I've been on panels with you, right? So it's just one of those things where the business side isn't very attractive to a lot of other folks for whatever reason. And I would say that also the community side. It's not just like what I'm getting at here is, Joost saying like, oh, businesses are not, returning on that investment or returning investment back to the community. Well, I would also say that the community, there's a large portion there too that are like, oh, forget that business thing. While they make business or while they work for an employer who makes a lot of money, right? So I get it. And I get that we want the businesses to look at the community and say, without these community members, there's no business. I also want the community members to look at the businesses and say, well, without these businesses, things won't happen. So that's very, very important to see, all sides of that. Once again, like having lived in the intersection of business and community for the last 15 years with my media stuff, I know how valuable it is. And I know that I haven't given up on promoting both sides or both faces, as Joost put it.